Welcome to Sunseeker International in Poole, where we have been given an early opportunity to have a sneak preview of the new Ocean 182. Now, for those not familiar with the Ocean range, it started in 2021 with the launch of the Sunseeker Ocean 90. And although it sounds like a completely different boat, that is the model that this boat is based on. But the reason it's called a 182 is not because it's 182 foot in length. It is exactly the same 88 foot 11 inches as the Sunseeker Ocean 90, but it refers to the gross tonnage. Now, gross tonnage is a measurement of the interior volume of the boat. And for a boat of its length, this has a simply enormous interior volume of 182 gross tons. And that is all thanks to this new enclosed flybridge. Now, one of the key features of these Ocean range is they have a big beach club area at the stern. And they've done that by obviously moving the superstructure further forward to create more space at the back, but also by extending the beam. So this boat is very nearly as wide as the 116 yacht. Now, prices for this start at about 7.135 million, which is around about £600,000 more than the 90 Ocean that it's based on. But you obviously get a lot more volume inside the boat. Now, it carries 13,000 litres of fuel. That should give it a range of about 1,100 nautical miles at 10 to 12 knots. And it has a top speed of around about 28 knots, but hopefully we'll get a chance to sea trial that. Now, the other thing that they've done, so given that there's so much outside space at the back of the yacht, they've moved the superstructure a long way forward. So if we come up here, you can see that the windscreen is only a few feet back from the bow. So that helps create a lot more internal space further forward. You've also got a more vertical bow. It's not quite fully vertical, but it's much more vertical than a conventional Sunseeker yacht. And they've carried that beam a long way forward too, which again creates lots of internal volume. Now, one of the big features of the whole Ocean series is this beach club area. And you can see just how much of the boat they've given over to this waterside entertainment space. There's a huge aft deck here. Now, there isn't a garage as such on this boat. There is just this large hydraulic platform here. So you can get a big old Williams jet rib or rib style tender on there. And that section here, you can just see the cutout. That whole section folds down and will drop the rib down into the water. We've got the extend seating system here. Now, this is an option. It's actually around about £120,000. It is quite an expensive option, but it's very, very cool because this will open up and you can either have seats facing this way, actually out to sea. You have a lovely couple of sunbeds, or this whole thing rises up to deck level, and then you can have seats facing in. These glass doors open up, and then you have a fantastic socializing space here. Again, they haven't fitted the furniture to this model yet. It's due to be shipped in the next couple of days, but you can see you can have freestanding furniture here or built-in furniture, and that all becomes one big entertaining space. Now, we'll just do a quick lap of the decks while we're here, because that is one of the changes. We've seen the cockpit. We've got walk-around side decks on the main deck level, and these lovely glass bulwarks are a big feature, and they work so well. It means you can get a view out from inside the saloon, as well as when you're looking at the boat. It just keeps the whole design a little bit lighter and brighter, but you've got the security and safety of glass in there, but still enjoy the view. Now, the superstructure comes a long way forward on these boats, and you'll see what I mean, or the crew are busy working here, but I'm sure they won't mind me giving you a very quick show round. But you can see just how far forward this windscreen is. There's only quite a small foredeck area here, but because it's so beamy this far forward, it's still a really good private socializing space. It's well away from the quay, it's separate from the aft cockpit. There's a lovely bit of seating, which they're just fitting up here, but you can see we've got fridges underneath here on either side of the bow seating. There's a cockpit or teak table here, so you can sit and enjoy a drink. We've got little pop-up lights within that teak. Now, these are the mounting points for a canopy, so you can have a canopy over this sunbed area here. Obviously, the cushions are just about to go on here, but you can see we've got a big foredeck sun lounger area. These are all electrically adjustable. Let's see if I can raise one of these. There you go. You can see how the backrest automatically lifts up. You then have a lovely cushion on there, and you can set the angle exactly how you want it to read a book or sun yourself. But very neat. They're all controlled electronically. Lots of storage under all these seats. That's the canopy, in fact. And then the technical area right far forward, very discreet, out the way, but it's not under a cover or anything because it actually looks rather good with all this polished stainless steel. You can see we've got twin anchors, one bigger one, one smaller one, pair of Newmar winches to pull them all in, spotlight right on the foredeck, and you can have the option of an outdoor cinema here. You can have a big screen that sets up there, projector on this table here, and you have a lovely outdoor cinema. A couple of really neat little features in this cockpit area. Obviously we've got plenty of storage. We've also got a little sink here, so if you've been handling messy lines or dirty lines, you've always got somewhere to wash your hands. There is a fridge there too, so again, everywhere you look, you can grab yourself an iced drink. We've got an ice maker there. So there's a kind of mini wet bar area over on the port side. On the starboard side, we've got the second helm station, and this of course enables the captain, when you're coming along stern to in a marina, it's great to be able to stand here. You've got a perfect view of the stern quarters. When you're backing into a dock, we've got the man throttles there, repeat bow and stern thrusters, so perfect lock. You get a view along the side, get a view over the stern, and of course all the winches and crew on the lower deck. Let me just close that up. And then my favourite feature on this whole boat, rather extraordinarily, are these little cupboards here. And I wondered what they were for initially, but what they are is the absolute perfect shoe rack. So when you come on the boat, everybody takes their shoes off. They normally sit in the basket or get in the way. Here they all just layer up on these little perfect angled lockers. You can keep your shoes out of sight, stored exactly where you need them. There's two decks of that, another one up there, so you've got enough room for at least 8 pairs of shoes, all in the perfect place. How neat is that? Oh look, and whilst we're here, I think the crew have been kind enough to start putting out the extend seating, so now you get a much better idea of that extend seating. So this clamshell lid has come down, you put the cushions out on there and it's facing aft, but this section here also swings up, and so it becomes level with the deck above, and you've got that fabulous raised deck beach club area. Now the first thing you notice when you come through into the saloon of the Ocean 182 is this amazing view you get right through the boat. And that's because you've no longer got the galley and the helm on the main deck. They've all, the helm has been moved up to the upper deck. So you now get an unbroken view all the way through the boat. And that just gives an amazing feeling of light and space. Now admittedly, this particular boat, because it's about to be shipped, is missing 1 or 2 pieces of furniture, so there will be some freestanding furniture in front of us here next to these opening windows. But in the meantime, it's just this huge space, and it really does have a kind of apartment feel. I know we say that quite a bit, but it's so rare to find a boat that feels as open as this does. This seating area here, that's all freestanding furniture. You can choose whatever furniture you like, but at the moment it is absolutely enormous array of seating. I think these are Minotti coffee tables down here, but you could have Minotti furniture, or this is actually custom built locally just to fill this space. Now the sliding doors each side are an option. This has clearly got one on the port side. You can also have one on the starboard side over here too. There is a 65-inch TV built into this bulkhead here. There's a bit of storage underneath. And then they've made a really lovely feature of this spiral staircase up to the enclosed upper deck. And we'll take a look at that in a minute. But in the meantime, let's go forward and show you how this lower deck is different to the 90 Ocean. Now you can notice there is a little bit of a step up, and that's a bit more concealed on the Ocean because you've got the galley occupying this space here. Now it's all open, but they have put a lovely sort of curve in there so you can see it and make it a bit of a feature. Now over on the starboard side there is now day heads. So if I open this door, you can see we've got a very nice day head space. Lots of light. These are of course smoked glass on the outside so you can't see in, but there's a nice mirror there too. Sink over on this side and a loo down there. But very discreetly tucked over on this starboard side. On the 90 Ocean that is over on the port side. And then you've got this kind of country kitchen effect with the dining space over here on the starboard under the windscreen. Big windows all around. Again, a really light space. Now this is the dark eucalyptus option. It is one of the sort of premium wood choices. Light oak is very popular. There are obviously lots of different choices, but it is rather smart, this dark eucalyptus wood. There is still access out onto the side decks through here. You can see we've got pantograph hinges on that door that swing out and give you access to the side deck. But it's these lovely windscreen here that just lets the light pour into this area. And it is very much a kind of living area, sociable day space. So the galley is open to the dining area. You can have this screened off or enclosed if you're intending it to be more of a crude boat, perhaps for charter operation. You can either have a temporary screen that rolls down from the ceiling, or you can have a more enclosed galley. But in this setup, it's very nice, kind of modern living effect. You've got the kitchen right next to the dining space, lots of natural light all around. There is an opening door here too, so you can get some fresh air into the galley. Very well equipped. We've got big fridge freezers here. Got a Miele oven, double oven. Got more storage space there. Got the bin in there. There is a dishwasher under there and lots of good storage. It's still all set up for being shipped at the moment, so it's not fully equipped with all the normal crockery and cutlery and so on. But there's more storage all around here, under here, and indeed back there. Now, the accommodation is split into two areas. It's exactly the same as the 90 below deck, so we'll whiz around it quite quickly, but there are stairs down to the forward VIP. We've got a big mirror here, just helps bounce light around. And then the forward VIP here. Now, one of the benefits of that vertical bow, it's really quite a, almost not quite fully vertical, but much steeper than a normal Sunseeker bow. And that clearly enables more volume to be pushed forward into this area here. And you can see the beam, even though this is right in the bow, there is a really wide beam here. And that just creates lots of floor space around the bed. And again, these big hull windows. And I very much like the way that they've kind of framed the windows. It's almost like a box frame. There's quite a big depth. You can see here, actually back to the window and the porthole itself. There's quite a lot of depth in there. But rather than having the hull sides flared out, they've kept the hull sides vertical and kind of box the windows, and it creates a sort of frame effect that looks really, really good. Lovely big double bed in the middle of the cabin. So we've got some nice detailing around this headboard. You can see the kind of textured surface here, fabric here, all that smoked eucalyptus wood, and then I think they call this gouged finish here, so it's almost like it's been hand carved with little chisels, but it adds lots of texture and not sure, it's almost like a sort of bronze effect light, but lots of nice detailing around here. Sort of louvered wood, big 55-inch TV on the bulkhead here, and of course ensuite bathroom. And for a 90-foot boat there is a lot of space in these bathrooms. Look at the size of that shower. Big walk-in shower. Well, I'll stand in it just to give you an idea, but it's not some pokey little shower compartment. It is a proper walk-in shower. Big mirrors all around. Again, porthole with a sliding mirror here. I think it slides at least, but I'm not going to force it. But you can see you have got fresh air and natural light. lovely stone finish. I think this is artificial stone, but it's actually better, I find, than real marble because it's less prone to staining. It's easier to look after and maintain, and it looks just as good. Lovely little desk space behind the door here. These are in fact wardrobes. If you pop that open, got a big lit wardrobe there and a bit more clothes space in there, and a little desk area so you can set up your laptop if you need to do a bit of work. Best to avoid it if you can, obviously, while you're on your boat, but sometimes you might need to answer an email or two. And then the main accommodation deck is, or sorry, the main accommodation on the lower deck is down these stairs here. So as well as this spiral staircase leading up to the upper deck, we've got the staircase down here to the lower deck. And just like the 90 here, we've got two guest cabins on the starboard side, or actually the stern side of the boat, and then the owner's cabin forward. So let's go into the master stateroom here. And this is such a tremendous space. Because it's sort of absolutely amidships, you get the full beam of the boat. Obviously we've got windows on both sides. Lots of light. This is a lovely piece of furniture too. I just like these rounded corners. Vanity unit. All of these drawers too, if you pop them out, they're all beautifully lined with little suede effect compartments. Just lots of lovely detailing. The other thing I noticed on all these Sunseekers is, if I can do this one-handed, all these beds lift up. Oh, I need to get a good grip. Oh, there we go. But all these beds lift up and there's a huge storage space beneath them. So it's just a little thing, but it's actually really convenient, particularly if you're storing bags or shoes or other things that you don't need on a day-to-day basis. It's really useful to have all that extra storage under the bed. And it's just on sprung hinges so that you can do it one-handed and tuck them all away. Now, of course, it is ensuite. Here is the bathroom. Again, really nicely lit in here. See all this recessed LED lighting behind the window frame, behind the mirrors. They're making a big deal of it. It's all indirect lighting, and it just casts a nice natural glow, has these little highlights in it, but it ensures that it's not too glary, it's not too spotlighty. Got twin sinks. Another big walk-in shower here. I think it's being used to store stuff, often the way when boats are about to be shipped. But a really big square shower compartment in there. Loo behind the door. Terrific space. Now there are three different options over here on the starboard side. This is what they call the breakfast bar setup. Very nice, couple of big comfy armchairs. You can sit and have your breakfast there or set up your laptop or whatever. But you can have, the standard setup is a chaise longue, or indeed you can have a whole storage unit, the sideboard unit there, just for fitting in more clothes. But again, lovely detailing. Check this out, this lovely curved inset stainless steel band set inside that curved wood. There's lots of little storage areas everywhere you look. Obviously bedside tables. And then moving back, so we're now in the lobby area again, and there's more storage in there. Check that out. Same under there too. And then the twin cabin, so this is one of the guest rooms. And this has got the sliding bed arrangement. You can see there are twin tracks in the floor. And rather than have electric sliding beds, they've made these manual. One, the reason is because on a boat this size, the chances are you're going to have crew and you're just going to ask them to set up the cabins how you want. But also because these little bedside units here lift out. You have to open the drawer, take the drawer out, and then there's a little bolt that they just lift out. So once you've lifted those out, you can move the beds together. You then have a big island double berth, and they reattach on the other side of the bed, so you effectively have a bedside table on this side, and then an island double berth in the middle. Now this is a thwart strip, so it's running across the beam of the boat, but it does mean you've got a lovely big hull window at the head of the bed, opening port section, big screen TV on the bulkhead, good big hanging locker there. This is another detail I've noticed that I haven't seen before. Really nice detailing on that handle. It's almost like a sort of chainmail effect. Slightly different handle here, almost like the gouged wood. All part of Sunseeker's drive to improve their detailing. Good size ensuite. Again, decent walk-in shower, lovely Villeroy Bosch sink, all this marble effect stone finish, Tecmar toilet. And if we come back out, up here we have the guest double. Again, you can spec these how you want, whether you want singles or sliding twins or a double. This is set up as a permanent double. Very similar in size. Exactly the same big hull window above the bed. 55-inch TV in the bulkhead. All of this nice fluted wood under here. And exactly the same storage and bathroom. But really good space. Got 3 cabins here and that forward VIP. But the real excitement comes when you go up to the next level. And so here is the curved staircase leading up to the enclosed upper deck. Now, obviously on the 90 Ocean, that is all an open flybridge. But now, if we come up the staircase, I think there might be crew up here, but I'm sure we're fine to have a look around. So up here is the upper deck, essentially. It's effectively a kind of a sky lounge, and what's so unusual about this is that it just feels like it was always designed to be part of the boat. And in fact, it was added after they built the Open 90, and 1 or 2 customers and dealers started saying, could we make an enclosed upper deck? And they have done exactly that, and it feels like it's always been here. And it's a really big space again. This sofa, it's hard to give you an idea of scale, but if I sit down in one corner of it, you can see it is a really good sized skydeck lounge. Another TV over on this side, and you can really imagine this of an evening. It would be a fantastic place to sit and watch a movie and gather here. Lovely little subtle desk lights, and again, fantastic visibility and natural light all the way around here. There are blinds up here if you want to close it up, but it's such a lovely bright open space. And because this is the only helm station, it's actually better than the lower helm on the Ocean 90, because you've got 360-degree visibility. Everywhere you look, you get a view out, you can see exactly what's going on. You're obviously higher, so you get a better view anyway. And what is interesting to notice is that there is still a sliding lockable door here. And that's because you don't have to have this area enclosed. If you want to leave that area there open, you don't have to have those sliding patio doors at all. You can have it open and just have a sort of protected sun deck. And if they do that, then the teak will run all the way through here, and it effectively becomes a bit like a hardtop on a sports cruiser. But you can then shut that area off and keep the boat secure. But the helm itself will obviously still be protected. It doesn't need any extra shelter. So you just have the one helm. Very imposing single captain's chair on a hydraulic ram, or electric ram, so that will lift up and down. We've got all the different adjustments for the seats there. There is talk about fitting a second helm seat if people want to have another helm seat alongside, whether it's for their partner, if it's an owner-driven boat, or for a navigation or captain sitting alongside. 2 huge big screens relaying all the information you need to see. It might be a little bit flashy on the camera, but trust me, in real life they look superb. Obviously you can set them up with all the information that you want. Got the twin hydraulic thrusters, so bow and stern thruster. These are the CMC Marine stabilizers. They've now gone for electric stabilizers on this boat. I think mainly because they feel it's a little bit quieter than the hydraulics. Those are the two engine relay unit screens giving you all the information on the 1900 horsepower MANs. Nice to see there is still a proper old school chart table under there. And a charger for your phone, wireless charger, and even a little glove box for bits and pieces, shades, handheld VHF, whatever. And all the way around here, there's like a second, it's like a sort of pantry area. So there is a sink in here. We've got cooler space under there. Lots more storage. Again, they haven't fitted it out fully, but it will have all the usual Sunseeker cutlery and crockery and glasses and so on. More storage on this lovely, this is a new finish. I think they call it a sand coloured lacquer, but very smart sort of metallic lacquer. And then this light oak flooring they've gone for up here and leading out to the aft deck. So even though you've got this big enclosed space, might just have to unlock that. So there we go. Slide open that door. I'll only start it open the one section, but you can see it will all fold away. And then there is a lovely outside aft deck up here on the upper deck. Now clearly, again, they're going to fit freestanding furniture here, but you can just imagine there could be like a circular dining table out here, or fitted furniture. It's totally up to you. There is an extending canopy up here that extends all the way out, so you can have shade all the way above this area here if you want to. There's a wet bar over on this area. Got a big grill there. We've got an ice maker unit, I think, under there. Oh, what's in here? Oh, there's two fridge drawers in there. Big sink. Well, not that big, but circular sink anyway. But really good to see everywhere you are, there's somewhere where you can keep a cool drink. Lovely to have the grill outside so that any smells are taken away. And then this glass balustrade all the way around, teak topped. Looks lovely. Now, it's obviously been out for a bit of a rough sea trial. There's rather a lot of salt spray on it at the moment, but you can see what a lovely view you get through there on a nice sunny day when the glass is all beautifully polished up. Low level lighting all the way around. And there are the controls for that sun canopy that I mentioned that comes out of here. So it's just extend, retract, easily done, all electric. Now if you do opt not to have the doors at the back here, I'm just closing that one up behind me, you can also have a big sunroof in here. So if you go for the hard top, then you can have the sunroof, leave it open at the back. There will be some canopies that close that off, probably on a kind of roller blind, I think is the idea. But you could then have a big sunroof in here too. But I think the main win is to have all that extra space, internal space, and this lovely upper deck lounge. Access to the crew area is along this port side deck. There's a little lock unlock button there, which once you press that, the door swings open on a big hinge, and then drop down into the crew area. And here we go. It's all very clean, very white, nothing too fancy, but it's nice and bright. There's a little mess area here. They have got their own television. There's even a little Sonos soundbar underneath the TV, microwave, little sink, bit of storage, crew fridge, and there are repeats of the Garmin MFD, so you can keep an eye, the captain can keep an eye on everything that's going on. Got the washer dryer, twin washer dryers over there, and then 3 crew cabin. Oh, this is the bathroom. So there we go. Pop a little shower compartment, sink. Sorry about the lines on the screen. I think some clash between the lighting and the shutter screen. I think it's probably because this is a US destined boat. If we come through, this is one of the crew cabins. You see we've got twin bunks on this side, small little opening port on the end just to give a bit of fresh air and natural light, bit of storage, and another pretty much matching crew cabin there. Again, twin bunks, bit of storage, and there is direct access from here into the engine room. You can see we've got a big watertight door here, which if I come through, so we can see we've got generator beneath me here, big cooling fans, and the engines under here. This is one of them. Now the engine options are either 1600, 1900 or 2000 horsepower MAN V12s. Should give a top speed of around 27, 28 knots. There's the Dometic air conditioning, I think, and there's the other engine under there, and a second generator forward. Exactly the same layout as the Ocean 90. Below deck, it's all the same. First thing you notice about driving the Ocean 182 is the helm position. And because it's on the upper deck, you instantly feel obviously that much higher, but also you're so far forward. The whole superstructure of the 182 is a long way forward on the actual hull itself. So when you look down, you're looking a long way down and the bow is directly in front of you. You also notice that because you're higher up, there is a bit more of a pendulum effect. You've got roughly an extra 4 tons of weight up here in this whole structure here. And while the CMC electric stabilizers do a very good job of keeping that in check, because you're that much higher up, you're just moving a bit further. And we have in fact got some quite choppy conditions out here. There's probably a 1 meter swell and a 4 to 5 southwesterly breeze. So we're running with the waves at the moment. We're just in gear at idle speed of 650 RPM, doing 6.4 knots. And at this speed, we're burning about 20 litres an hour. So really very efficient when you're just pootling along. But let me show you what happens when you up the revs a bit. So we've got twin 1900 horsepower MANs, plenty of power, but we're so far removed from the engines, you know, we're 2 whole decks and probably the best part of 50 feet away from them, that you can't really hear the engines at all. So now I've picked up the speed considerably. We're now doing, let's take it up to 1800 RPM. So 1800 RPM, we're now doing, just get it to settle down, I've synced both engines on the one throttle. So that's about 1800 RPM, and we're now doing 15.5 knots, burning almost exactly 400 litres an hour, and doing just under 16 knots. So very comfortable cruising speed, but it almost doesn't feel any different to idle speed. You're so far removed in terms of mechanical noise, and because the water surface itself is a long way down, again, you're not really aware of the speed. But let's take it all the way up and show you what it can do. Push the throttle all the way down. Very gradual, slight increase in engine volume, but not a lot. And now we're building speed. We're up to 20 knots now. Still gaining. We've got the wind behind us and a slight side swell, and you can feel those stabilizers doing their bit to keep us on a level. It takes a little bit of time, and that's where you really feel the size and momentum of this boat. There is a lot of boat under my control at the moment. So now we're building speed. We're up to 26, 27 knots. That's pretty much full speed on this. We've got full tanks too. So we've got 13 or about 12,000 litres of fuel and full water tanks. So it is a full load for the boat. And we're just, it's hovering between about 26, 27 knots, 2,350 RPM, and burning about 720, 730 litres of fuel. But that is a lot of boat being shifted at quite a pace, but it really doesn't feel that different. There's a little bit more motion, again, because you're hitting the waves a bit harder and because we're so high up, but let's point it into the waves and see how it copes, because that's where you're going to notice the fuller beam forward, if you notice it at all. And just a little bit, there's a little bit of movement, a little bit of creaking from the whole structure. We're now just coming into the waves. It's quite a short, messy 1 meter sort of chop and swell. And there is spray coming right up here, and that gives you an idea of just what the conditions are like, that we're pushing into the waves and getting spray all the way up here on the windscreen. We've got the wipers on, and that's quite a big wave there. But actually, even though it is pretty full in the bow, it feels immensely solid and very stable. So, and that helps, I think, probably being so far removed, but it is a capable boat. Obviously, there's not an awful lot of point of hammering into waves like this, but it's interesting to see that it will take it without feeling like you're putting undue stresses and strains on the boat. Let's just try a turn to port. I've got to keep a bit of an eye out because there are so many lobster pots around here, but let's just put it into a full turn. Go to port. We're still doing about 18, 19 knots. And here you can feel a little bit of a fight going on between the stabilizers trying to keep the boat level and the natural tendency of it to lean into the turn. But actually, it responds pretty well to the steering. For a big boat, it's turning actually quite a tight turning circle. You can feel the propellers struggling a little bit just to get the grip. And again, I think that's probably a combination of the interaction between the stabilizers and the propellers just aerating a little bit. It just takes the speed down a bit, but we're still doing 20 knots and probably in 2 to 3 boat lengths, I'd say. So it's no sports boat, but that's not what you're looking for on a boat like this. You're looking for a big, comfortable, refined, stable craft. And I think on that front, other than the fact that you're just that much higher and feel a bit more of that pendulum swing, in every other respect, it behaves much like the Ocean 90, which I think you'd have to say is a pretty good result. But just to give you an idea of what the stabilizers do, we've now got them turned off, and you can feel straight away that it's quite a big roll. We're beam onto the sea at the moment, which is absolutely the worst position to be in. And now if we flick the stabilizers on, and now we're effectively at anchor, we're not moving, but there's a big old roll building up. And the stabilizers are just starting to fight it now. You can feel it coming under control. And for a big boat at anchor, those fins are having to work really quite hard. But if we actually put a little bit of drive on, get a bit of speed underway, and those fins are going to become a lot more effective because you've got the passage of water over the fins rather than just dead in the water. And straight away, you can feel it comes back to a much more stable attitude, and we're now just rolling, well, you can see it here actually, we're rolling mostly less than 1-2 degrees. But that shows just how effective stabilizers are, particularly on a relatively tall, heavy boat like this. So, that is the Ocean 182. I'm really surprised at how different it looks and feels to the Ocean 90. It really works. It may or may not be your choice, but you can totally see that in hot climates where you want an air-conditioned interior space, or people who aren't so keen on taking the sun or eating outside, it gives you a wonderful extra saloon area. It gives you that much more internal volume and a very different looking boat with that fabulous open main deck. So I hope you've enjoyed this rapid tour. Please do let me know what you make of the boat. I'd be fascinated to see whether you'd go for this boat or the Ocean 90. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.